Thanks for joining us today on New England Living. I'm your host, Rachel Holt. Coming up, we're heading to Andover to visit an elegant, French-inspired floral home and garden shop with owner and designer Sandra Sigman. What a beautiful shop you have here. What was the inspiration behind this?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. It actually started with my mom. So my mom was a floral designer. And of course, when I was a kid, I would go to the flower markets with her. And then I had the opportunity to move to Paris. And I started ducking into flower shops. And one of the flower shops was called Les Fleurs.
You've lived in Paris, you've spent a lot of time in France, and that's really inspired a lot of what you do here in the shop and a lot of the objects that we can find here. Where are some of those influences?
Well, I think when I was living in Paris, I would go to these flower shops that looked nothing like we had here in the States. And what I love so much is that they actually had the flowers out to be seen and open, and everything is in season. So they're not going to start bringing peonies in December, which I really loved. I also thought they would use greenery as not just as filler, but just to add to the wow or the zhuzh to the bouquets. You know, maybe it's wands of rosemary or herbs or other little things that I thought were incredibly special.
So much of what we can find here has been carefully curated by you. When we walk through those doors, describe the shop for us.
Well, I try to set up the shop just like the shop I worked at in Paris where I interned, and I loved that they would not just put bouquets and mass-produce kind of vessels. They would find zinc buckets, and they would just curate the shop in a way that was just so inviting. And I knew once we opened our shop here, I wanted to do the same. So I still go every year and fill containers with all of these amazing things. Baskets you'll see sprinkled throughout the store that have beautiful plants in them. Our flowers are in the zinc buckets that I find in the countryside of Normandy. And I just love that feeling when you walk in. It looks different, it feels different. And also, I feel these pieces that I do bring back have stories behind them. You know, there might be a demijohn that was from an old vineyard in Bordeaux, and I love it. It still has a name on it. And I feel like these antiques have a soul, and who doesn't love a great story?
And the florists here are really front and center, and you can watch them owning their craft here.
Yes, I think again in France, sometimes they have those open concept where the chefs are cooking and pans are, you know, flying. And I thought, well, I love that. And I love in France, the flower shops are kind of teeny and they're constantly creating in front of you. And I thought, well, let's not keep all the designers out back. So you will see our girls, you can actually see them creating the bouquets for you. So it's kind of a tradition. Yeah, I love it.
What has it been like bringing the magic of a French boutique here to Andover and New England?
I really love the concept. I thought if I love it so much, I think other people will love it. And I think flowers are to be seen and to be out and all how the beauty. So to have them tucked in a cooler, I just wanted to be different, do different. Whether it was in Andover or anywhere, I just thought people would love to see that.
What experience can customers expect when they walk in here?
Well, I think a lot of folks come in the shop and they'll say to me, how did you know to find that? And I said, honestly, I buy what I love. And I think that people recognize that I'm not just filling the store with just random things. I really try to buy things that I truly love. When folks come in, sometimes they're having really tough days and they say, this was just amazing. And that is the reason I create this. I really do.
What's really special about what you're doing is not only are you really enjoying it, I can tell, but you're bringing so much joy to other people's lives.
Yes, definitely when I moved back to the States, I noticed in France, people just buy flowers like they're picking up a loaf of bread. You know, they go to the fromagerie, the boulangerie, and then they go to the florist, and they get their flowers. And I thought, you know, we here in the States sometimes mostly buy for occasion, right? Someone's birthday, an anniversary. And I thought, well, why not bring this around you all the time? So now we have this lovely, lovely customers that come in all the time, and they're like, it just makes me happy. And I know, like having a bouquet on my table or my counter, I walk by and I just notice things and how beautiful they are, and the petals and the way they fall and they hit the light. I don't know, brings joy.
As if anyone was doubting your credentials, you've written a book about floral design and arrangements. Tell me about French blooms.
Well, I think, of course, it's about France, my life living there, so in my story. And then, of course, there's all about flowers and the technical side of it. But also I share a lot of recipes where folks can take these skills I teach in the book and take it home and do it on their own. And then the third part is some secret addresses that I share, and it's kind of exciting that they can now take this book and travel to France and use it as a travel guide.
When you walk into a flower shop, it can be really intimidating just knowing where to start. So that's where you're gonna come in and help us just with the simple arrangement. What would be the first step here?
Well, I think what's so important is I know so many of our customers sometimes, walk in and they just kind of freeze. They're not sure what to pick. And so we try to really help them with the technique part. And we say, you want some things that are round in shape, so circular. You also, this is a beautiful ranunculus. We also want something that's linear, so more tall and elongated, which is larkspur. And then, of course, we love little different textures.
It seems like there's really a science behind this, whether it's the size of the flowers or the colors that you're putting in the arrangement.
Oh, for sure. And I always say, when you're in a garden, is everything the same height? Is everything the same color? No. I like to use a garden as an inspiration that everything has this S shape. I almost feel like it floats up, it floats down, it floats up, it floats down. So as you can see with my bouquet here, we're floating up, then we're floating down, we're floating back up, just like a garden.
This is already beautiful. I'm ready to just take this one home. Now, what makes this bouquet specifically French?
Well, what I love about how they do their bouquets is a twisting method. And also when they've completed their bouquets, it could stand on the table with no base.
Oh, wow. I gotta see this.
I know, so cool. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with some foliage first. The technique is they crisscross the greenery, and they use this technique, it's called a tapping method. So it's almost going into the direction from your shoulder sideways.
Okay.
And then they twist. And then again, to your shoulder, down, and twist. And I love using different textures of types of greenery. So right now we have some beautiful salal and ruscus, and we're just doing the framework of the bouquet. So again, we're just gonna keep twisting.
So you just keep on adding flowers and greenery and twisting. At what point do you know that it's done?
Well, I always say, us floral designers never know when to put our scissors down. So I think as artists, we're always tweaking and we're playing. So I mean, really, it comes to a time constraint when folks are kind of still there waiting for their flowers, or you've run out of money. So that's usually a good determinant.
It's looking pretty perfect to me.
Thank you.